Hi, welcome to Figs Talks Fights. I'm your host, Brian Figueredo, and today we're going to talk a little bit about Bellator 238 taking place tonight, Saturday, January 25th. Main event featuring Julia Budd, women's featherweight champion, taking on her debut tonight, Cris Cyborg. All right. Now, most of you probably know who Cris Cyborg is. Okay. She pretty much ran through everybody in Elite XC, ran through everybody in Strikeforce, ran through everybody in Invicta, then went to UFC, had to cut down to 140 pounds, which pretty much near died to make the weight, okay? Taking on girls that were coming up from 135 pounds just as a sacrificial lamb to her, up until she ran into the freight train known as Amanda Nunes. So, Julia Budd, who is she? Most of you probably don't know, but you should. Now, 90% of the world's best MMA talent, yes, they are in the UFC, but the other 10%, any of them could walk into the UFC and become champ. So maybe not always seeing the best matchups out with the best facing the best in Bellator or any other organization like ONE or such, but this is some top talent. Now, Julia Budd, being a Canadian, so I gotta go for her tonight, just being a fellow country person, okay? She is Bellator's featherweight champion, and she is a serious threat to Cris Cyborg. Now, most people are going to look at this as a squash match, all right? Who knows? It is Cris Cyborg. She should run through Julia Budd. Maybe. Probably not. Julia Budd is a brute. This woman is strong, okay? And plus, she's been in there with some great talent. She's got wins over Marlos Kunin. She has a win over Germaine de Randamie, who just fought for the UFC title against Amanda Nunes last month. All right. She's also been in there with Ronda Rousey when Ronda Rousey was Ronda Rousey. And she's also been in there with Amanda Nunes, I think, for her second fight in Strikeforce back in the day. So I actually expect a very, very competitive fight tonight. Now, Cris Cyborg, she's just coming out of the end of her contract with the UFC, and her last fight took place, I believe, last July against Felicia Spencer. Do you know what? She looked a little vulnerable. She got cut in that fight, and she was spending a lot more time holding Felicia Spencer up against the cage. Now, Cyborg was just going through girls many years ago and just smashing them, running through them, okay? But since she came to the UFC, she's actually been showing a little bit more technical boxing, okay? Yes, she's a pretty strong upper-bodied woman, okay? And she is a little bit stiff with her punches, but ever since working with Jason Perillo, you can see she's flowing a little bit more. She's picking her shots, and she's not just looking to just run through everybody the way that she did in the beginning of her career, kind of like Vanderlei Silva, all right? So I expect a great competitive fight tonight. Who knows what's going to happen, but just in case you didn't know anything about Julia Budd, this is not a squash match, okay? This is going to be a great competitive fight. Now, something else to look forward to on the card tonight is Sergio Pettis is making his debut, and he's taking on a gentleman of Alfred Karshakayan. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. I don't know too much about Alfred. I just know that he's out of Glendale Fight Club, which is most famously known for Ronda Rousey coming from there, and head under Edmond Tarverdyan, okay? Now, I know Edmond's taken a lot of slack for coaching Ronda Rousey through her last fight ever, the lasted under a minute against Amanda Nunes, just yelling head movement. Look, cut the guy some slack. He is a great boxing coach, okay, and a great kickboxing coach. He's got great strikers coming out of his gym. The guy does know what he's doing. Just got a bad rap right now. Anyhow, nonetheless, Bellator 238, it's going to be a decent card tonight. Between watching that and the UFC 166 fight card tonight, Fight Night 166 tonight with Junior Dos Santos versus Curtis Razor Blades, probably going to have to split the screens between both of them, but should be good fights on either end. So there you have it. Julia Budd just may go in there and retain her title against Cris Cyborg, but if Cris Cyborg does run through her, I mean, that's what Cyborg does, but should be a competitive fight. Enjoy, and if you can, if you like the content, subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching. Cheers.